Good morning. Welcome to Mercy Vineyard Church. And let's start off with prayer before we jump into today's message. Father, we just want to invite you in. Holy Spirit, we ask you to take control, that you would use this time to impact us well, that you would open our ears to hear what you were saying to us, that you would use my mouth for your glory, and that you would give us all the ability to act, to be in a profound way, to be the hands and feet that you're calling us to be, for your kingdom to come on earth as it is in heaven. And I feel like someone watching today is feeling removed or spiritually separated from your community. I just want to let you know that we love you. We are here for you. And if you would fill out a Connect card, if you're watching this live, click the button that says Connect card and make sure you fill one of those out. Right in there, how you're feeling. We would love to connect with you and just go ahead and fill that out. We want you to know that we love you. Jesus, would you please comfort those people who are feeling disconnected right now? Would you please be with them and minister to them? Holy Spirit, be with us all. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's get started. How many of you are Minnesota Vikings fans? Huh? It sounds a little quiet. How many Minnesota Vikings fans are there? Listen, are we going to win this year? Are we? Anything is possible. With prayer, all things are possible, right? We can be hopeful for that. Now, what would the Vikings need in order to make a playoff run this year, or maybe even make it to the big game, the Super Bowl? Some would say that they need better players on their team. Some would say that they need a better coach, a coach who has won it all as a coach and not just a player. No offense to the coach. But there are plenty of teams out there, right? I want to let you know there are plenty of teams out there without the best players, without the greatest coaches, without the greatest combinations that have won great championships. For instance, my hometown Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl in 2012. Sorry, I'm not trying to rub it in, but that's why I'm wearing their jersey. In 2012, they won the whole thing. They won the Super Bowl. But guess what? They didn't have the best quarterback. They didn't have the best team. They even had an old Ray Lewis. It was he was on his last leg. He was at the end of his career during that last Super Bowl. They were considered the underdog as they went against Peyton Manning's Denver Broncos. They were considered the underdog as they went against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. And they ended their regular season with a 10-6 record. You know what that sounds like? That's the same record that the Vikings ended their season with in 2019, right? That tells me that the Vikings can be winners. We can have a team that we celebrate, but they need to fill their empty roster spots. They need the right players, and they need to dedicate themselves to being a community. That's right, being a community. Everyone needs community. We're not designed to be Christians alone. We're not designed to be Christians moving in opposite directions. We're not designed to be Christians with division. No, God didn't design us that way. He designed us to be on the same page, to be united, to be together. Great teams don't have to have all of the superstars on their team, but they have to be in lockstep with each other. Today, we want to talk about our own team's success, the Mercy Vineyard Church's team, as we get in the game with church community. What is church? Right? Some of us think that it's a building that we come to, a place where I go on Sundays to get my praise on, right? I hate to bust your bubble, but the church is not a building or a place you go to. I know we put the name out there, but that's not really what it is. The word ecclesia, the word that Jesus uses to describe church in the New Testament, it means the called out assembly. The church is you and me. The church is all believers connected. You are the church when you go to the grocery store. You are the church when you're out for a walk with your dog. I am the church when I take my daughter to soccer practice. We are the church when we work together for God's kingdom agenda. Matthew chapter 16, verse 18, Jesus says, I will build my church and the gates of Hades will not overpower it. In other words, right, the church is the winning team. The church is successful. In Revelation chapter 12, verse 11, we're told that we overcome our enemy, the accuser of the church, by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. Right? Wow, we are already victorious. We are a winning team. We're a community, a group of people who have something in common, and that something is Jesus Christ and the kingdom of God. Those of us who have chosen to be a part of this church community, we want to see our team win. We want to see success. There are three things that we're going to look at today from the original early church, the first century church in Acts chapter 2, verses 44 through 47. So if you have a Bible, why don't you go ahead and open it up or turn it on and check that passage out. We'll be pulling parts of that scripture throughout this message. These things can help us to experience team victory as we all get in the game with our church community. The first thing that we see is unity. Aiming, and what unity is aiming for the same goal. To keep our football analogy, it's aiming for the goal line. Football teams know that there are many different people on a team. Football players know that there are many different people with different skills playing many different positions, different roles. But there's only one goal line. All of the players know that they need to move together toward the goal line. That goal line represents success. We need to get to the goal line. Look at verse number 44. Now all the believers were together and held all things in common. You see, they aimed to be a loving community. They aimed for togetherness, even though they were being persecuted. Real persecution. See, their lives were really in danger, but they committed to being together. During this pandemic, I appreciate all of you who are watching in our online community. Thank you so much for participating with our church, with your church. You have stayed with us online. You have connected and chatted during service on the live chat. You've engaged in online connect groups. You've volunteered to serve in this online ministry, to help out, to be a host, and to all the different parts. I just want to say thank you so much for serving week in and week out. I applaud you for your dedication, for your support, and for the love that you have for the Mercy Vineyard Church. Thank you. And please keep up your commitment to this community. We love you so much, and we can't do it without you. Verse 42 says that the early church devoted themselves to the leadership of the community. The people trusted the direction of their leaders, right? The Apostle Paul even said in 1 Corinthians chapter 11 that you should follow me as I follow Christ, meaning don't follow me if I'm not following Christ. We have to be aware of these things. And so I want to take a moment to commend the volunteer leaders of this church. If it were not for you contacting people, connecting with people, leading groups, contacting and caring for people during a pandemic and during a church crisis, this church wouldn't be standing. You and the staff are the real MVPs of this church. And I'm looking forward to how we can work together to improve our team and to make an even greater impact here at Mercy in the Twin Cities and beyond. For a team to win, they have to bring the same energy. Have you ever been in a room of people or tried to work with folks who don't bring the same energy that you bring? Especially if you're bouncing around like myself, right? It can just draw your energy out. It can just make you not creative anymore, right? A team has to bring the same energy. Can you imagine a football player who's just chilling along on the field while everybody else is amped up and excited, right? We got to bring that same energy. And we have to work together in order to see the promised land, to see the light at the end of the tunnel together. We can't allow our past and our hurts to drag us down or to allow that to become a part of our identity. No, together we can agree that God has a bright future for you and for the Mercy Vineyard Church. If we aim to demonstrate unity and multiply disciples. That's right, Matthew chapter 28, verse 19 and John chapter 17. We need to demonstrate unity in order to multiply disciples to advance the kingdom of God. We want to do that in everything that we do. We need to have a component of helping someone connect with Jesus and grow as one of his followers in everything that we do. Next, the next thing that we see the team must do to get in the game is to have radical love. Every successful football team knows what radical love is, even if they don't say it. You don't see a bunch of big guys on this field saying, I love you, man. No, not usually. But every winning team has players, watch this, who sacrifice for each other. That's what true commitment and true love is. See, the linebacker can't, or the linebacker, right, has to agree that he can't be the primary scorer of the touchdowns. No, the quarterback can't block, at least not well. The kicker can't make personnel decisions. No, everyone sacrifices for this greater good of the team. That's what God did for us. He sacrificed his very best, his only son, for you and for me so we could be a part of this team. Now let me be clear about what love is and what love is not. Love is not googly eyes. Oh, I love you, baby. I do. I love my wife. I love my daughter. I love my mama. I love my brother. I love you because you are a part of this church. But I appreciate how Professor Scott McKnight defines love in his book, A Fellowship of Difference. He says, love is not primarily emotion or affection, but rather a covenant commitment to another person. Commitment does not deny emotions. Commitment reorders emotions. You see, team sports is a great example of this concept because the team needs to commit to each other in order to win. The team needs to trust each other to uphold and accomplish their role and responsibilities in order for that team to be successful. And if someone on the team falls or fails, we don't throw them under the bus. We don't talk about them. We don't gossip behind their back. No, that's ungodly. That's unchristian, unchristlike. What we do is we surround them with love and care and affection. And while they lick their wounds, we should bend down and help them bandage their wounds. While we are helping to bandage their wounds, the team members can step in and care for and move the team forward to continue the work. Do you know how many things have to go right for a football team to score a touchdown? So many things. There are 11 big players on a football team, some big dudes. And they have to follow a play. They have to be coordinated. They have to strategically move to inch a ball down the field of play. It's amazing to me that so many people on a field can work so well together. Even when faced with opposition on the other side of the field, facing an enemy on the other side of the field that's trying to stop them from making any progress at all. Do you know we as a church community, we have to endure that same thing. There is an enemy on the other side of the ball trying to prevent us, but we need to work as a team, as a community, together with Jesus and make some progress. But we can't do that unless we are together, right? We have to work hard. We have to sacrifice for each other. We have to love each other. And no one said it would be easy. Love is hard work. To radically commit to one's teammates when they are from different backgrounds, when they are from a different class, different status, different denomination, maybe a different belief system, maybe they present themselves differently or wear different clothing, maybe their first language is different and it's hard to understand. Yeah, all of that is hard. But a good team uses all of those differences to their advantage to win the game. Acts chapter 2, verse 45 says, they sold their possessions and property and distributed the proceeds to all as they had need. Every day they devoted themselves to meeting together in the temple and broke bread from house to house. They ate their food with joyful and sincere hearts. Other than Jesus' sacrifice for us, what greater example of radical love in a community do we have than this? Pastor Tim Keller, who's the pastor of Redeemer Church in New York City, I got this from him. There are 5 characteristics that differentiated the original real Christianity from other first century religions. He said, first of all, their commitment to being multi-ethnic and multicultural. That was light years beyond what other religions were doing. Other religions were focused on nationality, right? Christianity was focused on everyone. Their radical care for the poor and the needy. You see, in this verse, they sold their possessions to make sure everyone had their needs covered. Their commitment to being nonviolent and non-retaliatory separated them from the Greeks and the Romans of their time, upholding the biblical idea that every human life has value, and being countercultural. They didn't worry about fitting in to their surroundings because people should ask them, why are you so different? Yeah, people should ask you, why are you so different with your lifestyle? And then you can tell them about Jesus. Finally, my last point is that the team must get in the game and desire to progress. Advancement and growth must be driving forces for our success. The early church wanted to win because they already knew Jesus made them winners. They wanted to advance. They wanted to progress. What team do you know that is not interested in winning? I'll give you a second. Those teams get disbanded. Those teams get eliminated. Those owners of those teams, they kick players out if they don't want to win, right? Even teams who are winners, they retool every year in order to keep winning. To quote the NFL coach Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. You don't play it just to play it. Look at verse number 47. Praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. Every day the Lord added to their number those who were being saved. 3 things we notice in here that they made progress in. 1 was their worship, 2 was the people, and 3 was their focus. They made progress in their worship, which is their recognition and celebration of who God is and what He has done and what they were trusting Him to do. They made progress in gaining and enjoying the favor of, it says, all the people, right? How are we gaining favor and trust of our surrounding community? Let us not push people away because they're different or they believe different than us. Let us embrace them and find common ground to become a blessing to them and their family. And finally, they made progress by being outward focused. Let us never forget the aim to unify and multiply disciples. Stretching out to impact the lives of others is the energy that will keep Mercy thriving and advancing for the kingdom of God now and for years to come. The early church was incredibly successful at this, and new believers were added to the church daily. I'm so proud of the Mercy Vineyard Church. Mercy is so successful in so many ways. I'm just absolutely amazed, right? There are many group leaders out here who continued to lead and connect with people during a global pandemic. I salute you and celebrate you. Mercy Vineyard cared for those in need with our COVID Care Fund. We raised and distributed over $70,000 to those in need. What a great display of Mercy's generosity. Every week, we're seeing new faces come to our building. People who have heard about our church, who've never been to church, haven't been to church in years, right, are coming to the building. Shout out to some of the newer folks that are coming out to the building. Jorge and Monica, I see you out there with your new baby. Congratulations. This church is incredibly resilient. The way that she has recovered from great difficulties over the past couple of years is commendable and not short of miraculous. Jesus certainly has his hand on this church. And dedication. The people of this church, right, are incredibly connected and communal, which has helped this church to be more and more resilient. And how could I leave out fun? Were you at the outdoor services through the month of July? Did you get a taste of the cotton candy and the root beer floats and the snow cones? Did you see 2 weeks ago our VBS and all of the kids who were here having a ball and learning about Jesus? Right? Were you at the Everyone Gets to Play picnics that we had over the last couple of months? Just this last one this Wednesday, there were so many people there, I thought we would have to pass an offering plate. It was awesome to have so many people out there just to chill out, relax, and be with each other. What does progress look like for Mercy? Well, together we can multiply all of the aforementioned things I just said. And we can have fun as a community. Right? We want to aim to increase the quantity and quality of our outreach programs and partnerships so we could be doing the stuff that Jesus did, loving our community and multiplying disciples. We want to see more salvations. We want to reach a post-Christian culture for Jesus. We want to see more baptisms and celebrate those who are taking that step in their spiritual journey. Shout out to Shannon and President and Bree. We just baptized those three at our Everyone Gets to Play event this Wednesday out at the beach. We baptized them right there at the beach. It was so awesome. So many people were there, and so many people not a part of our church were onlooking, right, seeing what was going on. So the ministry of Jesus is reaching so many, the masses. We want to do so much. We want to celebrate our wins and continue to encourage people. And we want to work toward transforming our community for good. Yeah, Jesus loves us and all the work that we're putting in. You see, we're better together when we get in the game together, when we strive to display unity, when we radically love our teammates, and when we encourage progress. There's no Super Bowl that we cannot win. There's no victory that's too out of reach. There's no goal that is too grand for this team. You are a winner in Jesus, and He has called us to be winners in community together. He has already told us that we're going to win. Let us continue to work together and get in the game with our Mercy Church community. You are all a part of this community. Let us show it by our unity, love, and progress. God bless you and have a wonderful week.